Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spiritual Successor, a comedy video game design podcast where we take your lovely ideas from the internet, either from Twitter, YouTube, Reddit, email, and turn those into the
Not official channels.
Fuck you.
One of those wasn't true.
But you won't say which one. And we turn those
one of them. It's anyone's guess.
And we turn those ideas into the next AAA video game titles that may or may not take over the world or brands. AJ,
what's up?
I feel like ever since we dropped our sweet Final Fantasy 16mm bit, everybody's been stealing our idea. Even Tony Hawk is stealing our idea. Have you seen this shit? Have you seen the Tony Hawk burrito?
Okay, really quick.
Have you seen the Tony Hawk burrito? I want one so bad.
The Final Fantasy 16mm.
Uh-huh. That's
not the Final Fantasy 16 multimedia.
Wait,
which I love very much.
Wait, I didn't think
You said millimeter.
I mean, I thought that's what it standed for. That's what we said. That's what you said in the episode. I'm going off of what you said. You're gaslighting me live on air. This isn't cool, man. I thought we were homies.
Of course we're homies. I gaslight all of my homies.
That's why they're my homies. That's why they stay my homies. So for those that don't know, we made a Final Fantasy game forever ago. And the whole point of it is that you have to go to different outlets to get access to the game. So you had to buy a sandwich and that would give you DLC. You had to drink a whole bottle of hot sauce to get some code to play the game. And then I logged into Twitter the other day.
But tragically, parody is dead. Parody's dead. We can't do parody anymore.
So I actually, from what I hear though, no, I need to give the context.
Give the whole story.
For those that don't know, Tony Hawk's new Pro Skater remaster is coming out. And to give you early access to the game, or a trial, basically, you go to Chipotle and you buy a burrito that Tony Hawk made. It's his own recipe, and the fact that he knows how to make burritos doesn't surprise me for some reason. I don't know.
It's not his...
It is his recipe.
It's not his recipe or anything.
No, that he made it. He said, hey, I spent a lot of time making it.
Yeah, from the Chipotle order. You're right. When he says he spent a lot of time making it, what he means is he goes to Chipotle enough that he knows what his order is, right? This isn't a handcraft seasoned Tony Hawk specialty.
There's only 6 different ways to make a burrito at Chipotle. So I guess this is just somebody saw that and they're like, man, somebody's banking on my recipe, this burrito recipe that me in 2000. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you're right. There is a limited scope of what you can actually make it at Chipotle. I don't know. I thought they introduced it has a certain type of chicken or something in it that's limited access.
No, it just has the Chipotle chicken, which, by the way, now is a good time to tear into Tony Hawk for his Chipotle burrito choices, if you would like to. Let me see if I can't pull up the order.
You go to Chipotle pretty regularly, so are you gonna shit on this guy's burrito game?
I am going to attempt to shit on the Birdman's burrito choice.
Oh, that's a pull.
Really quick, I need to figure. Okay, so here's everything that goes in the Tony Hawk burrito. Okay, brown rice, good choice. Black beans, we're doing so good so far. Chicken. Fucking, you're kidding me? So I can't get in on the Tony Hawk burrito, huh? Because I'm no meat. Because I'm plant-based. Birdman's out to fucking stop me from getting this. Salsa. Okay, it doesn't even really
it says hot
salsa flavor.
Salsa.
It just is salsa.
It says hot salsa. Cheese and guac.
Okay.
AJ, I shit you not. There's
no veggies in this one,
picture. No, yeah, it doesn't look like there's veggies. There's a picture of Tony Hawk going up an on-ramp or a half pipe or whatever the fuck you call it. I'm sorry, I don't skateboard. I've never played a Tony Hawk game. And he's flashing the bottom of the board at the camera, and it's just the recipe of the burrito.
Oh my god.
Do you see it? It's just the fucking recipe of his dumbass burrito on the bottom of a skateboard. Chicken burrito, brown rice.
Okay, I do want the skateboard very bad.
Pretty fucking cool, actually. And there's
You know
no
what? Actually,
art. There's
fuck
no.
This should be what he should be giving away. We should be doing skateboards that have your order on the bottom of them.
like a.
This is the new.
Oh, that reminds me of kind of how Jones does it. You know, like the soda company, where it's like if you send in your picture, there's a chance they'll put it on all of their, like, on that specific flavor of soda or whatever. That feels like that, but like way cooler.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you didn't know that? You can actually submit your black and white photos to Jones, the soda company, and they're like, hey, we like your photo. We're going to put it on a random bottle of Jones, or on like a bunch of bottles of Jones or whatever. So it feels like that, but it's like, imagine going into Chipotle and instead of like a serving tray, they just put it on a skateboard and then just hand it to you. And now you have a sweet skateboard to rip on.
What I'm proposing is you order your, like, you get your skateboard that has your order on the bottom of it, and then every time you go into the Chipotle, you flash your sweet deck, and then they're like, we know what to make you. It says right there on your board.
Ooh, oh my God, actually.
I want to create like a burrito fast pass with your wheels.
It turns out Tony Hawk gave us a submission this week with his weird-ass burrito recipe. This basic-ass burrito recipe.
Yeah, this rules, actually. Like, his burrito game does suck shit because I can't eat it because it's a chicken burrito.
Oh, that's right. Suddenly, it's suddenly bad. It's not vegetarian.
Here's what fucks me up, though, also. There's, like, no veggies. Like, there's guac or whatever, but, like, it's not like it's got any lettuce in it or any corn or any of the fajita veggies.
Well, I mean, like, when I go to Chipotle, and that's a rarity, I don't get veggies. Like, it's... Veggies just means I have less room for guacamole, honestly. Also, guacamole it's a vegetable, right? Yeah, it's a vegetable.
Guacamole is so much more than a vegetable.
Actually, no. Is it a Actually, is avocado a fruit? It has a seed in it.
I'm not getting into that debate.
No, really. I think avocado is like totally a fruit.
All right, googling that now.
It's like the same way a tomato is a fruit. Yeah, avocado is a fruit. It's a fruit, dude.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, it's got a seed in it. Like, a fruit has a seed within it. All right,
do
whatever.
Some video games now?
Whatever. I mean, we did kind of launch with a video game. Hey, Tony Hawk, this is how you make your brand game better.
Tony Hawk, just sell that skateboard. Just sell that skateboard so that I can order my thing on it and I can have a little fast pass.
Okay, hold on. Actually, I'm just getting like a whirlwind of ideas for this. One, you either have access to this specific order skateboard in the game, or you start going to Chipotle and they give you a QR code of your exact order. You put that into the video game, and now you have whatever you just ordered from Chipotle on a skateboard in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Okay, so you're proposing that you get a little QR code to have your order on a skateboard in the game, but there's no real skateboard with your order.
No, I don't know. Like, I mean, shit, you think people are skateboarding right now? Everybody's one-wheeling or on those like little razor sticks. What are they called? I don't know.
Scooters. Are you talking about scooters? Hold on, time out. Hold on, Blake.
Yeah.
Did you just forget the word for scooter?
I just call them razors, man. Because razors scoot.
Dumb, stupid, handsome idiot.
For a second, I thought, you know, like how brands like the Super Soaker, it's like it's a catch-all term for a water gun now, but it's actually like it's a name of that brand's water gun. So
Speaking
I was thinking like
that works
razor
at an
scooter.
electric scooter company. That is not true. A scooter's a goddamn scooter. Capiche?
Oh no, my himbo is showing. All right. You give me a game idea.
Yeah, I got a submission here from I Am Not Witty Enough for a Funny Name at ARP1033.
What's up?
ARP suggests a game where your terrible yet harmless opinions take form. For example, you can say a hot take to create a heat source.
All right.
So this would be like a survival game, but I think that the way that this game works is like, I like the idea of it being a heat source, right? Like, the only way that you're able to create resources within this survival game is if you propose a hot enough take that someone's like, okay, that take is bad enough that you will be rewarded this many little points.
Okay. All right. Real quick though, I'm trying to think of like mechanically how would that work? Is this like a Scribble Knots thing where you just have like a little type 'em thing, and then whatever you type in there, or whatever you draw, you basically have it becomes a physical manifestation in the world?
I'm imagining more of like I'm imagining something that's like a browser based game, right? And so you would load in with a batch of your friends and think like you have like a bunch of little avatars, and the little avatars are trying to stay alive through this like text adventure.
Yes.
And like one text adventure prompt is going to say like, a flash freeze comes through the town. Do you have enough food resources to last? And so then you would need to give it up. Everybody gives up a hot take, and then you're going to rate the hot takes in like hottest take to least hot take. And the hottest take is going to get the most points.
This feels like a Jackbox game, but I feel like it's like,
Yeah.
so it's like, oh, it's exactly like the comedy stand-up thing. Oh, here's the thing. It's basically a survival. It's a team survival, or not maybe a team, but a versus survival game. You have to survive the night, and you have to basically give hot takes that keep your fire alive. If you don't get enough votes each round, you're voted off survival style. So basically, it's just like you start out with like 4 people. Each person gives their hot take, and they're given like a rating. And if that is a hot enough take, their fire stays alive through the night. But one person has to go every single night.
And what I love about this is the high risk, high reward situation. But you don't want to give a take too horrible. Like, right? Like, you don't want to be a big D-bag, and you can't be making up fakey fake stuff, right? So like, you got to ride that line of like a take hot, but not like a shitty take, right? So like, there's the difference between saying I think Nickelback is a good band actually, and thinking I think Drake is an okay person.
Oh wait, okay, hold on. We haven't done this in forever, but you know, like I think it was like 30 episodes ago, you and I were doing like polls on Twitter. You give a hot take, and I'm gonna have a hot take, and maybe if it's funny enough, we'll do like a poll on Twitter.
Okay, my hot take is that Nickelback is good, actually, up until 2011's Here and Now album. That album rules. Dark Horse, Feed the Machine, and whatever that third album since all suck. But
Okay,
before that, Nickelback rules.
Okay, so
That's my hot take.
Your hot take is that Nickelback was good for these albums. My hot take is that the Harry Potter movies are actually terrible.
Oh, shit, okay.
Yeah. I don't like the
Hot
Harry
takes
Potter
in
movies.
Harry
Like,
Potter's bad, or Nickelback is good. Okay, these are delectable.
I like the way you phrased it. It's very succinct. I appreciate that.
Which take is hotter? This is going to be a Twitter poll.
I feel like I need to explain myself. As a kid, I liked them, but as I like grew up and watched them, I just found that it wasn't. I just don't think the movies are really well executed. I think a lot of the scenes are kind of dumb. I don't know. I don't like the movies. Like I watched up to.
And you're a film major, so your opinion is fact.
Oh sure. I've made like 20 short films on YouTube. I don't think I have the credits to judge a fucking major, like, though I do gotta say, love Harry Potter World at Universal. I think it's really fun. But that's our take. All right. So
like, essentially the way that the game would work is like you would propose up your hot takes, and then people would vote on the hottest take. People who that don't have a hot take point, they're going to like not get any points. But if you propose just a bad take, right? Like, not just like a hot take, but like a bad thing, right? Like, I went up there and I said, so Donald Trump's a cool person. Like some stupid idiot thing like that.
Fuck it, dude, he's already dead. Stop. Oh my God.
God, we wish. God, we wish.
But say you said that in a room full of like hardcore Trump supporters, then you need to read the crowd just as much as
the bad take would be like, I think Donald Trump is a good person. Then people would say, actually, I want this idiot to stop playing this game with us. We're kicking him, he's booted.
Okay,
and
but
so,
still,
like, that's
the
back
same
and
thing
forth
applies.
of the game.
But the same thing applies. You need to read. You need to gate where the strategy of the game comes in. Is you need to say, like, the first 3 rounds are like, you need to say a take that's hot enough to where people are like, whoa, I upvote that, but not too hot to where it's like, hey, that's like, you need to judge the safe zone, basically. And then as people are voted off, though, they still get to vote on who they're hot on, what is the hottest take.
Yeah, we're finding out our friends' hot takes while also sussing out the jerkwads.
This is how you find out who's not invited to next week's game night. Is you just play this game at the end. You play this game at the end of the night, and then you're like, I don't want him coming back here, please. All right,
and you know what? I would love that. I would love that if in Jackbox there was a game that I could specifically fire up with the purpose of saying, I'm going to find out who the hell I don't want to play with anymore. Because I hate that point when you're playing a Jackbox game and you're all having a good time, and then somebody puts in something super problematic. Yeah. And then you're like, damn, I wasn't expecting that right now when I was playing Quiplash.
Jackbox is really good for sussing out people because it has the username mechanic. I can judge a person, and I will wholeheartedly judge a person by their by what they choose as their username.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I have people I don't talk to because they put like really shitty names in their thing, and they're like, "That's a funny thing," and I did not talk to him ever again.
Yeah, Jackbox is great that way, and I want to build a game that's all about that.
But what I'm saying is, like, I want a game within the Jackbox that is specifically built to do that for me. That way I'm not, like, faced with it while I'm trying to play, Trivia Murder Party.
We give you a warning where it's like, play this at the end of the night. Because here's the thing. There's only one thing that sucks more shit than finding out somebody's a bad person. It's finding out somebody's a bad person, and then you have to spend the rest of the night playing games with that person. Because I've had that happen.
Yeah, because, like... Imagine if you found out somebody was a horrible person at the beginning of the night, and then, like, 2 games later, they're like, why don't we play Monster Hookup? And it's like, oh, man, now I have to 6 racist John? This sucks.
Sexting racist John is a great... It's just, I don't know where I would put that, but that's just an amazing... like, because it's just so, like, it's so, like, evoking. Like, what, who, wait, why are you sexting them? Why are they racist? What the fuck is happening? All right. That's a game. I have one for you coming to us on Twitter.
Okay, give me a game.
I picked this one because I just thought of a name. I have no idea how the mechanics would work, but I have a fun name for it. This one comes to us from Alley Cat and Millennium Hoo Ha. Always love that name. That name is so fucking funny. Wrestling game where the participants are thoroughly covered in butter. And oh my god, I had indigestion for a second. And the name of it...
Maybe you're the wrestler covered in butter.
I'm the wrestler covered in butter. Imagine being covered in butter. All right. We'll get into that in a second. We call it, like heel turn is like a big thing in wrestling. Like that's the we call it heel churn.
Holy fuck, Blake Rhea.
I have no idea how else the game would work based off of that, but like, okay, maybe we could do a thing. Okay, so in heel churn,
let's talk about it. Okay, so like
AJ, I have Can I just want to give you one quick thing, and then we could dive into mechanics.
Give me a little bit of runway.
A buddy of ours was got really into WWE, I think it was 2019, 2020, because of the character, like, building. There's actually a count, there's actually a roll, like a stat or a percentage roller of how sweaty your character is. What if we do that, but it's like how buttery your character is, and that dictates their ability to do certain moves? Because I'm imagining if you're all buttered up, you are really, really hard to grapple, but it's very difficult for you to grapple somebody else because your grip strength or your gripping ability is way low because you're fucking covered in butter.
This rules. Blake, take my hand. I'm gonna bring you over.
It's covered in butter. I don't think you want to touch it right now.
I'm gonna try to take your buttery hand, and we're gonna go over to the majestic world of esports, and we're gonna go over to the fighting game community, and we're gonna go over and we're kicking around in the fighting community, and now we're gonna go over to the Smash teams, and we're gonna go talk about my good buddy Luigi.
Wait, what?
So, Smash Brawl. There was a game. There was a mechanic within Smash.
Oh wait, I know what you're talking about.
Wii U. It was like a slippy dodge thing. Like if you were like dodging correctly and like did a short hop or something like that, your character would just slide through like on the ground, but you could still do other attack animations.
Mm-hmm.
What we are creating and what we can create with Heel Churn is a fighting game where you can constantly like adjust the slippiness of your character, and this can affect all sorts of things, right? It's going to affect how good you can slip dodge. It's going to affect how easily or difficultly your character can grab or be grabbed. And it's even going to affect the things of like how much damage is your character going to take from actually being hit. Because like one thing that like actual UFC fighters will do is they'll put a little bit of slippy stuff on their cheeks. That way when they get punched, the punches slide off of their face a little bit.
I'm just picturing a UFC fighter like Chuck Liddell, and he just has like he just tears open a fucking stick of butter, doesn't unwrap it, like literally tears it open, and just like it's fucking Burt's Bees lip balm, just rubbing it on his face.
He rips the paper off with his teeth and then starts rubbing it all over.
And then I don't know why I'm getting this visual, but you know, like people who have like chewing tobacco, they just like get a spoonful of it with their finger and then put it underneath their gum. I'm just picturing after he wipes it on his face, gets his little pinky and just scoops some up and just puts some fucking raw butter like in his gums. Like it's chewing tobacco. I don't like these visuals. So these are
there's
disgusting.
There's obviously all sorts of different characters, and what I love about this is like we can even do like character types, right? Maybe this isn't a character customization. Maybe this is just like a roster of characters with different levels of slipperiness, right? Like we're gonna have a grappling character that is super not slippery. He's not gonna have a lot of like slide dodges, but man, is he gonna be able to just really grab onto a sucker?
Really quickly. All right, here's. I know the prompt was saying different levels of butter, but I think we can get some mileage out of. This is a wrestling game where you have a choice of material that you can cover yourself in. So you have a person who's covered in butter, but then you have another person who's covered in I was gonna say Werther's Originals, but that's not a fucking viscosity. That's a solid, not a liquid.
That's
I'm trying
solid.
to think of
what you were meant to propose.
Miss
was
Buttersworth.
like a syrup,
I was gonna say
right?
syrup.
Like a maple syrup.
Yeah, like you have a syrup. Then you have another person who's covered in olive oil. Then you have another person who's covered in Dove soap or something. Like, is that something we want to roll with, or do you think butter will just get us all of those?
I think butter. I think I want to stick with butter because if we just use a bunch of different like viscous things, then we need to get rid of Heel Churn and we need to find like Sticky Wrestle or something along those lines. You're right.
Heel Churn is just keeping it for the name, I think, would be the way to go. Okay, so Heel Churn. So you can dictate how much butter you're covered in.
I would argue that like you don't dictate how much butter your character is. I think that like different characters on the roster are different levels of slippiness.
Okay. Do we also want to do a thing, because there's different brands of butter, and you have WWE, or actually I don't think they do it so much in WWE because they're very self-contained, but in UFC they carry sponsors on their shorts. Is it going to be that different characters have different butter sponsors and different butter brands have different qualities to them?
Of course, they're all going to be sponsored by different butter companies because that's how we get the deep lore, right? That's how we're going to get like the lore about how like X character hates other character because they used to be sponsored by that butter company, but now they're not.
Tell me the deep lore of just what is butter? It's just fat, isn't it? Like butter is just like boiled fat and eggs.
It's like oil in egg. I honestly, I don't know what's in butter, and I'm afraid to ask. Milk, I think. Isn't it like churned milk? Like really churned?
Yeah, but there's also stuff in it, because there's a difference between butter and cream. But even though I think it's like you take cream and then
is it not just churned more?
Yeah, I think it is. I think there's like a weird level of milk becomes cream, and then if you churn cream, it becomes butter. I don't know. I host a fake dumb video game podcast. I don't know shit about butter. So
you ready to move on to the next idea? I'm gonna put a pin in this.
I do want to put a pin in Heel Churn because I just think the visuals of it are really funny, and I would be very happy to make a trailer out of it. Um, all right, actually, it's your turn, bro. Give me a submission.
This comes from our Reddit, which I'm really excited about because the Reddit came out hard. So did our Twitter. You all came out so hard for us this week.
Yeah, we had like over 60 submissions, and like I have like 10 submissions in my little roster right now, and I don't think I've ever had this many submissions. So thank you very much.
This submission comes from Vampiric Argonian on Reddit. A game about the primal desire to shove random objects into garbage disposals and wood chippers.
Okay.
So here's what I'm proposing.
What is your setup? Yeah.
So Papers, Please is just like a game where, like, I'll be honest, Papers, Please is referenced so often, but I am a fake video gamer, so I haven't played it actually. You just, like, get things on your desk and you have to follow the orders and put them where they need to go, right?
Well, yes. It's I have not played it either, but I have watched a Let's Play of it. And also...
Okay.
No. Like, I feel like Papers,
gamers.
Please is kind of interesting because it's like Smash. Even though you don't play Smash, it's talked about so much in the zeitgeist that you just get it through osmosis. Like, you may not get the story, like... of Papers, Please, because there is an overarching story of and development and stuff, but at the same time, like, everybody knows what the fuck Papers, Please is because it's talked about so much, you know? But yes.
Yeah, you get an order with, like, varying, like, orders, like, oh, hole punch this, blah, 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 and you just, like, give it the stamp and move on to the next thing. Now, here's the wrinkle. What if we were also doing, like, a game where, like, it was just like, oh, please do this for me. But...
Okay.
the entire time you are sitting next to just a giant wood chipper. And it's fundamentally the same game, except now there's this level of like, well, what happens if I just chuck this into here? You don't know if you're going to need it, right? Like, you could like have this big grinder next to you and you're just like, I wonder what would happen if can I just throw my whole ass telephone into the wood chipper? So you just pick it up and dump it in there. And then later on, you're going to be given an order that's like, make sure you call Jeremy in the front office. And you're like, ah, shit, I wood chippered my phone 2 levels ago.
So, okay, one thing that really speaks out to me about this is if you had a Papers, Please thing where, or more specifically, you're in a world where these papers determine everything, or the things, or the orders, more specifically, determine everything that this person has. What if
I want to say it doesn't have to be Papers, Please. Like, it could be like a surgeon simulator thing.
Okay, more specifically, you are handed something that can directly determine the fate of this person, and you have a wood chipper next to you. What happens when you put their life depending thing in this wood chipper? What happens to them? How does that affect you? Do they come back? Do they come back and like try and hurt you? Because you can do a thing where it's like, I think a good example, I know I've made this comparison a lot of times on the show, but I think it just handles it so well because it's just such a vast narrative that only takes place until later in the game in one location, and that's Little Inferno, where it's like you get something in the mail, you put it in the fire, when it burns, it gives you something back. So could you do a thing where like some people's orders require you to put it in a wood chipper and then you get something out of it that can then not only help the person that the life you just destroyed. Actually, no, there's the gameplay loop. Is you have to figure out who's a bad person.
I have the answer for you.
Go ahead.
Do you remember, there was this, I know you remember it, there's this VR video game called Duck Hunt, I believe?
Yes, I do. I do remember Duck Hunt.
Duck Shoot or
Duck Hunt.
It was called Duck Hunt?
Yep, it was called Duck Hunt.
It was a VR game.
By stress
also,
level
big
0.
ups to the developers for getting that through without getting that copyright.
No, they went and got the rights. That's why they were allowed to do it. Yeah.
So essentially it's this VR game where like you play as a little kid that gets a copy of Duck Hunt, like the arcade game, and you can play Duck Hunt in VR. But there's a little dog over there the whole time. And you could just sit down for the night and play Duck Hunt. But if you shoot the dog, then the dog dies in the game, and then over the course of the night, outside of the game, in the VR space, the dog will start to show up and spook you.
it comes to your more specifically. I know what you're saying, AJ, but I want to elaborate a little bit. It leaves the game and comes to your character's house, and it's actually a physical, real thing, and it becomes like a horror, like it's a psychological horror game.
Yeah, it's a game within a game. I should have prefaced that. You play the game where you're a little kid that gets a new video game cartridge. You put the cartridge into the game system, you then load into Duck Hunt the video game. Then you can come back out of Duck Hunt the video game into the video game space of the living room, and that's where the haunt begins.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking
What
rad.
I'm proposing, it's really cool. What I'm proposing is a game where as you are given orders, you can always do the orders, and you could just sit there and do as you're told. But also, if you just throw something in the wood chipper, you're going to get complaints, but more concerningly, your boss is going to get really pissed at you.
Ooh, okay. So is it just a game that you can play? You can go through the game, and it's just like a... oh, AJ, I have it. You're at the DMV. You work at the DMV. That's what explained why people are coming to you. You have their licenses, so you have something that can directly affect them. Or it's like whatever paperwork, or they bring you their keys, or just whatever. They're there to turn in something or take a photo or whatever. So like as you go through the game, you're working the different stations of the DMV. So like you can be working, of course, the person dropping off their paperwork to get a permit. Then you're working the photo station, and there's some shenanigans that you can do there to fuck with their photos. You can work at the computer testing station where you, instead of you can fudge the test to where it's like, you know this one person is coming through that you want to fail the test. So you actually change either the answers to where they get the test wrong, or you change the question themselves. So that's like our backdrop. And then
or you throw the whole machine into the garbage disposal.
You throw I don't know. I can't take the test. It's in 1,000 pieces, right? The computer's like,
oh, try to take the test now, idiot.
Or it would be kind of fun. Is this can be one of those games. It's like have you ever heard of Donut Country? Okay, so in Donut Country,
I've heard of it, but I don't know the gameplay of it.
You start out as a hole, and just a hole in the ground, and you have control over where this hole is, and it's the inverse of Katamari Damacy, where as you absorb things into this bottomless pit, the pit gets wider and bigger, and it's like it starts off taking...
Oh, so you could just be a wood chipper that keeps on growing with power.
Or like you just like get so obsessed with this wood chipper that you're like, it started with a piece of paper, but now I'm putting people's cars in it. What's next? Now I'm going to go towards the White House.
Yes,
and I'm going to put
the wood chipper keeps on getting bigger every time you feed it.
Yeah, and then you're like, and it just gets hungrier. It's oh my god, dude! It's Little Shop of Horrors, but with a wood chipper and a DMV operator. That's it.
This rules.
So it's like this wood chipper grows its own personality, and it'll start talking to you and like giving you like, I know you want power, I'll give you power. And it's just like you're feeding this wood chipper as it just grows and gets hungry, and then eventually the game becomes that the wood chipper
either Blake, feed me.
Holy shit. And then so there we go. There's our then it just gets hungrier and hungrier, and the whole game is just like you're a person that tries
and on one hand, maybe you shouldn't keep on throwing things in there, but on the other hand, the physics and the sounds are going to be so good
satisfying.
When you throw something into that
like,
wood chipper. It's just going to make all the best crunching noises. Everything in the game will have its own physics when you throw it into the grinder.
Or different results, like in like Little Inferno, depending on what you throw into it, like things burn
different just reactions from the customers, right? Like
or also just like if you throw an ID in there, it I don't know, it's just like you get a reaction on the face of the owner. But if you throw a car in there, suddenly you just like maybe it's just like the car like
you just get to watch it crunch out.
Yeah, just like something to give it a little bit more life. Like you just see a bunch of smoke come up from it. That's something that not everything does. Or you throw a person in there, depending on who it is like they do the Terminator thing where they give the thumbs up. Just like funny little animations where it's like part of the gameplay loop is like, I wonder what animation I'm gonna get when I put this thing in there, and like I wonder what.
Ooh, but you really shouldn't. It keeps on. It's starting to ask for blood now.
But see, like that's kind of cool too, because then as the game goes on, it also becomes like engaging to see, oh, I wonder what the wood chipper is going to say when I put this in there. I wonder what commentary they're going to give me or whatever snarky little remark they're going to do. And then, it would be really fun. One of my favorite parts of Shovel Knight, I know this is like a completely 180, but Shovel Knight, for those that don't know, is a platformer in the style of Mario, but like with more combat
I'm pretty sure everyone knows Shovel Knight.
Yeah. And there's this one part of the game where you just come to this like little swamp area and you talk to this whale that's made of an apple, and it just goes into this whole like pre-made dance song number. So I'm wondering if like you have this wood chipper, it's like, man, I really want to throw that mariachi band into that wood chipper, and you throw the whole mariachi band into this wood chipper.
So good.
And then it just becomes this 2-minute song and dance number where this wood chipper is just like singing and doing instruments and just like this whole, it just becomes like a real treat for like 2.5 minutes. All right.
Yes. Okay, let's put a pin in this. This rules. Also.
All right.
Do you have a game suggestion for us?
I do. This one comes to us. Oh my God. Hold on. Let me find it really quick. All right, AJ, I'm going to give you the option. Do you want something a little bit saucy or something a little bit cutesy?
A little bit. These are such different adjectives, and yet they're in the same vein, which I really enjoy.
They're both play on words, so like that's kind of the realm we're going to be diving into.
Give me something cutesy.
All right, this one comes to us on our Reddit from There's no ats on Reddit. This comes to us from user Squidpope. The world ends with uwu, like the UW. So I don't know how I came to this conclusion, but like, like Quiet in Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain, where she's like, I can't speak because I carry a virus. What if this is like some anime person that's like can't, anytime they make like a little, like, because I don't know if you've met any of them, but I've met people that talk in anime speak where like, oh, ooh, daisuki, that they talk like that because it's just very fun. And sometimes it's cute, sometimes it's really weird. And I'm wondering if it's like a situation where it's like this person, we are presented this person that like loves to talk that way, but then something curses them to where anytime they say something ooh-wooey, like that, something really weird happens. So maybe you can do a situation where it's this person is given this power or curse, depending on how you look at it, and they have to work their way through an environment where they like in the Untitled Goose Game, where it's like if you want something to move, you quack at them, and that's how you solve the puzzle, or that's how you get what you want. What if you did something like that? So it's like this one little
just
anime
to be clear, this
person.
has absolutely nothing to do with playing off of the video game The World Ends With You.
I have never played that game, so I thought this was just, I've heard that phrase, but I've never heard of that game or seen it.
It's a very popular JRPG directed by, I believe it was directed by Nomura, who did the Kingdom Hearts games.
Oh, okay.
It's like a super like punk rock aesthetic-y RPG about two characters learning to cooperate.
Okay, so I feel like that's already a story of The World Ends With Uwu. It's just cute. It's just cute anime people, right?
Maybe The World Ends With Uwu is the sequel to The World Ends With You, where instead of a cool hip hop punk flavor, it's everybody dressed up in like like pastel dresses.
Oh, dude, we make a really good not like lolly as in like the weird sexual thing,
the nasty
one,
but like a Lolita fashion thing.
Yeah, Lolita fashion. So what if you do something like that? But what's the gameplay loop? Like, because what
is the gameplay loop?
Yeah, can you explain to me how the world ends with? I was going to say the world ends with ooh, but how the world ends with you? Like, could we do? Like, if I find out it's a fighting game, is it going to be like, your fighting skill is like how cute you are? But then again, like, wouldn't that also...
I absolutely could explain to you how The World Ends With You plays if I had played it.
Okay, so we'll just do it. We'll just do it the way we do everything else. We just assume what it is, and then we just make a game like that. Like, it just goes back to the Papers, Please. Neither of us have played it. We have an idea of what it is. We're just gonna assume that's how it works.
Yeah, that's true.
So, okay.
I honestly have no idea how the world ends with you plays.
Okay, so why don't we just... How did you feel about the thing I pitched you before I realized it was actually based off of another game? Where it's just like
I have
a person...
the same problem where I don't know what the gameplay loop is.
Okay, so you have this Lolita fashion person, and they want to conquer the world. Actually, that's a fun angle. A Lolita that wants to conquer the world through Lolita means. They one day wake up with that power where, like, if they can use their voice to do something. So, like, weirdly enough, I just read Carrie, like I don't know if you...
Like a Dragonborn.
I have not played Dragonborn, so I don't know.
You haven't fucking played Skyrim?
Oh, wait. For some reason, I thought you were mentioning... No, I haven't played Skyrim either. But I thought when you said Dragonborn, I thought you were saying, like, in my mind, I was hearing Dragon Age, and I haven't played Dragon Age either, so I'm assuming that's also...
No, like the Dragonborn.
Bad.
She has the power to use Fusro Da shouts, and she just yells really loud, and the video game is about her dressing up super cool in pretty dresses,
but it's just
and
like
gaining
really...
power.
Oh my god, and they have to go fight other Lolitas, and then they steal their, like, shouts? So
their dresses, and their cool shoes, and their hairstyles.
Oh my god! Okay, you've sold me.
And now I'm imagining it like a 2D scroller beat 'em up, right? So you run around the town, you do level after level, getting new skills, getting new upgrades from the little shops, having a fun little animation.
It has like the town exploration mechanics of something like Night in the Woods, where it's just kind of like that side scroller aesthetic, but it's still like pretty big to where you can just go explore things.
Something where... Yes, I'm loving this idea of like something like a Night in the Woods exploration style, but maybe with the combat and look of one of those
like MapleStory? Doesn't MapleStory have some kind of mechanics like that?
I was thinking something more akin to the Scott Pilgrim video game, but I was trying to remember what video game Scott Pilgrim
that would be rad.
aped.
Oh, so wait, are you saying you and I can be Lolita buddies in this game and we can like team up and take on this town?
And wear pretty dresses and
wear pretty
beat
dresses
up other people with pretty dresses and steal their pretty dresses and their cool hairstyles and their Fusro Da shots.
I love that actually. Fuck yeah, dude.
Are you ready for another video game from me?
I am ready for another video game. That was pretty good. The world ends with ooh.
Let's see here.
All right, we're coming up on the 45-minute mark, so I think we need to do some lightning round stuff, brother.
We are at the 45-minute. Let's do 3 lightning rounds and then pick a nug.
All right, let's do a couple lightning rounds. I have a bunch of lightning rounds.
I got one here from Blue Doodles at the Derpy Dalek. Call of Duty Battlefield type game, but it's a horror game. You play from the bad guy's perspective, trying to fight an unstoppable soldier who keeps coming back once they die.
God, I feel so bad. When I read that submission, it totally opened my eyes. Of like, man, like, it must be fucking crazy for the aliens in the Halo series where, like, his Master Chief just doesn't fucking die. It's a horror game from the aliens' perspective, right? Like, to just like, hey, this guy literally has killed our planets, like, blown up, like, places where our people have lived. And tried to, of course, they were conquering that war. You know, both sides to war. The benefits, it's good guys, bad guys. It's gray area. So like, Master Chief must be a fucking demon. So how do we gamify that? Is this a person that is trying to do their job?
I think it's a tower defense. I think it's like you are the supervillain bad guy and you get to set up a tower defense. But like, it isn't so much of a game where like you're going to make sure that your place lasts. It's just a matter of like, how long can you keep your hero from stopping the game?
Oh, okay. So there's actually really good levels in the StarCraft series. I love that game, where it's like a lot of the missions are just hold out for X amount of time. So it's a game that's all about that. It's like, hey, each level you need to hold out for longer and longer amounts of time, but you gain access to new tools, new troops, new like buildings that you can then use to defend yourself. So, you know, it'd be kind of cool actually, like really fucking bitchin'. This is a...
Now, how can we create that
I have something
as a horror game?
I have something really, really cool. So one person builds the tower defense or builds the layout of the level, and another person plays it as an FPS game. So what if we're doing something like that, where like I am going to build an environment that looks like a level of Fear 2 or 3, and you are going to play from the perspective of the soldier in Fear. So like I have to build something...
I actually don't want it to be an asymmetric game. What I'm kind of curious about trying to create, and what the submission was kind of focused on, was the idea of like, what if the Terminator was out to kill you while you were trying to destroy America? How do we create that as a horror feeling, right? This idea of like a tower defense, and like you have a limited amount of tools that you can use to try to stop the villain in time. But it's the hero in time. But they're still on their way to get you. Think Five Nights at Freddy's if you had more tools to slow down the animatronics.
I have this. So I feel when you were doing Gibbs is just yelling. Give me 1 second to open my door. Gibbs. All right, I'm back. So I feel the issue when you do horror games is if you try doing them from an above, like from a bird's eye view, it loses intensity because you're not directly involved. So what I pitch,
that's why I want to lean on like a Five Nights in an office.
Well, how about this? So you, at the beginning of the level, look at your area to work with. You can then lay turrets. You can then lay walls. You can lay barbed wire. But then as soon as you're done, or as soon as you run out of time, you are then transported to be a first person in the area that you just created. And then it becomes a sort of Mr. X from Resident Evil 2 or Nemesis from Resident Evil 3, you have to maneuver your way through this environment, running away from something that is trying to kill you.
Yes.
So you had to build all of the traps, like from a bird's eye view, and then you have to survive. Make sure you built something that can help protect you. But it's like, they're Nemesis. It's like you put up a wall, they're gonna smash through it. Nothing can stop them forever.
Yes.
But it's just like trying to figure out, I know, and it becomes this game of like, okay, this wall buys me 5 seconds of time. So then it just becomes an equation of like, if I do this many walls with this many budgets, or if I do this many turrets, it buys me X amount of time. But as you get resources, this character mutates and becomes stronger. So like it turns out like the walls that work, it mutates to what you do. So like if you put up this specific type of wall last level, they built a mutation that allows them to burst through that wall. So it's not like I'm just like, because one thing that I ran into with like something like Toy Soldiers, it's a great tower defense game, is once I found a formula that works, it basically applied to every single level, and then the game stopped being challenging. So this AI,
but this game's going to keep evolving. Our superhero is going to gain new abilities and be able to start countering some of the tools that you've began to rely on. Have you ever played the Gears of War Horde mode?
Forever ago. I have very little experience with it.
So what I kind of want to come back to is the idea of like Gears of War 3's Horde mode specifically would have boss rounds every 10 levels. And what I wanted to try, what I think we could capture here is an entire video game that feels like when the Berserker is set up as the boss. Because in Gears of War 3, you could set up like actual defenses. You could set up a barbed wire or a little turret, or even build yourself like a whole ass mech. But if the Berserker ended up spawning in as the boss, you had to run very, very far and very fast. And then it became a different game.
Yes, it becomes a game about being stressed out, like not being able to save yourself, only delay the inevitable and like make it out to the next. Like you don't walk away feeling like you won a level. Okay, you feel like you survived a level. All right, this one comes to us from August of strong summer wind blowing in your eyes, at dust in your eyes. A hen-tie game all about dressing up chickens in the right fancy neckwear for their special occasions. So it's just you have parties you need to go to, and you need to make sure you're it's just like it's like a little phone game where you have like a chicken, and you have to just dress them up for the occasion. Like it's like hey, you get an invitation. Yes,
who is we waiting for to talk, me or
I have no idea. Like I heard like static on your line, and I'm like, did something happen?
Oh, that sucks. What I'm imagining then is like a dress-up game, but like somewhere between a dress-up game and Hatofo Boyfriend. Was that the Dove one where you dated the birds?
Oh my God, that's right. I
Where
totally
you dated the
forgot.
doves?
Yeah, I remember that.
So a game where you can dress up your cool chickens and you send them out to like fun business adventures, and they're like, I'm going to go try to get a promotion, and you're like, all right,
Yes.
bud, you're not doing that in
You
those
gotta
shoes.
dress
But
for
you don't want to make
success.
sure that he exactly, but you got to make sure that he boot too big for he goddamn feet. And if you do it right, and he goes in and he gets that promotion, and he comes back and he's like, I got a promotion. Then you kiss
Awesome.
the chicken, and then boom, he turns into a very handsome anime boy.
AJ, all right, we're coming up on the 54-minute mark. Are we ready to go into our actual game? Like our not into our nug.
We need to pick a nug.
I vote heel churn.
Yes.
You want to do heel churn?
I do want to do heel turn, but I'm also very interested in this DMV feeding the machine game.
Okay. All right. What points do you feel has like more story?
Yeah, my problem with both of these games right now is they're cool games that should be made. We need to find our stink.
No, are you kidding me? I don't think a wrestling game about being covered in churned milk is a game that should be made. Where you're all slippery and shit. Here's the thing. I would play heel churn. Actually, I would play both unironically, but I would feel more invested in a game that's about destroying shit than I would be about a game where I'm hearing sound effects like every 5 seconds.
Here's my one request for heel turn.
Okay.
At the end of every run, right? So like it's a combat fighting game. It's going to have an arcade mode, and if you follow the arcade mode, you get to see every character's unique story.
Wait, AJ. Okay, go ahead.
I believe that at the end of every character's unique story, instead of any sort of cutscene, instead of any sort of lore, instead of like in Tekken, you would finish an arcade mode run and you'd get to see how Jin Kazuma became the winner of the Iron Tournament.
Yes.
In this game, you would just get a big screen that is a recipe for a unique style of butter.
Oh, and it's just like
That's it.
It's their.
That's all you get.
Oh, I love this actually because it's like you get like just their own, like their native recipe. It's like from the world that they hail from. Like this is their recipe, and it's like an actual recipe for butter. So it includes different spices,
Yes.
it includes different tastes. I fucking love that. That's amazing. You know what the backdrop to this tournament is? It's like
What's that?
You know, like in Willy Wonka, like the whole pitch is like one child will be selected to earn a lifetime supply of chocolate. In this, it's just a lifetime supply of butter. But then we apply all of like those like Rocky Balboa or underdog stories where it's like, I'm trying to win this because it's going to help. I'm going to be able to afford treatment for my grandmama. It's like, but you still have those stories, but the solution to those stories is just more butter. So it's like, I want to earn all of this butter so I can get treatment for my grandmama. She just needs 30, 40 pounds of butter and she'll be healthy again. It's just like that absurdity. But I do love like that little grounded element of once you win, their story is solved, but you also get like this really like cute like recipe for
I want to
butter.
argue that you don't get to see their story solved. You get to the end of the arcade mode and it says you win, and then the recipe comes on screen. I want this game to launch like like how Street Fighter V launched with fuck all. That's all this game gets.
Okay.
It launches with fuck all, but you can earn recipes.
Okay. Are you okay though with like the backdrop of this tournament is like the grand prize is like a lifetime supply of butter sticks? You okay with that?
Yes, but only if we bury that lore in like loading screens, right?
No, like I
that's
feel like
never going to come up. That's only going to come up in the like you load into the thing and like there's little tooltips that come up in the loading screen, and one of the tooltips is churning Tatum is on his way to win the tournament to save his grandma, and then you press X and it goes into like Butter Johnson is doing this tournament to win butter for his grandma, and every single character has that exact same sentence for the lore.
Slippery Sam. Just fucking
Slippery Sam is doing this tournament to win butter for his grandma.
Oh wait, hold on. Who's our gearless Joe in this situation? Like for those who don't know, I'm making a reference to what's it called? Megalobox, where it's like it's a boxing anime, but this one character decides to not have like the piston arms that everybody else in the tournament is using. Is this person? This is like the person that doesn't. Yeah, that is butterless Bill.
Dry Dimitri.
Dry Dimitri is a pretty good name. Or chafing Chad.
Chafing.
I don't believe him, Butter. I don't stand by it. I chafe all the time, but it's my anger.
All right, let's go to our Discord and pick some boss fights.
All right.
Let's see if we can find any other like special characters there.
Like slippery themed Discord. All right, for those that don't know and are new to the show, on our Patreon, if you are subscribed on it, it's like $2 a month. You can join us on our Discord where we do like private hangouts, just talking about future projects. You get access to early art and early trailers, early scripts, as well as you can submit boss battle ideas that we put into every episode. I log in and I just feel attacked, AJ. Kurlaka suggests Blake's secret persona, which brings into question, like, you know, like in Tekken, there's just a dude with a face as a tiger. Is there anthropomorphic or half anthro characters in Heel Churn? Like who?
Of course, there's going to be a character that is a reference to King from Tekken. How could we not reference King from Tekken? He's the greatest character ever created.
But what's an animal that would love butter? Is it just a cow? Is it just a guy with? Is it just a minotaur? And that's why he's fighting. He's just like, nobody deserves, our butter was stolen from us, and I'm here to get it back. Like, that's his thing. Also,
Minotaur, yes.
To answer
of course, it's a Minotaur.
Also, I know I didn't answer your question, Crocus. My secret persona is an owl with a scarf. I think I've talked about it on the show before. I love owls. Okay.
What's their name?
I don't know. I thought like your persona would just use your own name. But now that I think about it, that's totally wrong. Dante, the owl with the scarf. All right, AJ, you got a boss battle for me?
I have one here from Aiden on our Discord. Their name, this is Crab Scott, the mascot for the Baltimore Crabs, which I believe is the mascot for the Blaseball thing.
Blaseball?
Or is that a real team?
I have no idea, but the idea of a crab in our butter game, because like it's a vengeance story, dude. His family were killed and they were eaten with raw butter, and he's like, now anytime he sees butter, he gets into a rage and he gets really, really red, and that's like his whole thing.
I would argue that this is a character that is like he's escaped. He was buttered. He was on the chopping block. He was about to be killed, but then he was like, I'm still alive, suckers. So he jumped out of the pen, and he's super big and super tall. And he's out for revenge.
He's like that weird crab dude from One Punch Man. You remember that? Or is this like a buff crab with swim trunks on?
Yes.
Okay,
super
cool.
Buff crab. Maybe this is our grappling character, right? Because he's got those big pinchers that can hold on to people, even though they're all slippery.
Oh, that's interesting. He has extra grip strength, so like that's I like that because that would prevent characters from being just like, okay, if I just go 100% buttery, like that's the easiest way to win, is be like, no, if you're 100% butteried up or slippery, there's still characters that can beat the shit out of you. So you have to think about it. You have to strategize.
And what I love about the crab character is that big range for the grabs. The punches are very small, but the grab range is super big, so you can't even like slip dodge out of it. You're gonna get grabbed.
Oh my god. Okay, so I love this because, you know, like maybe why everybody's here is it's not a endless supply of butter.
They're all here to get the butter for the grandmother. We've already explained.
No. It's the world's supply of butter. When you win this, you get full control over what the world does with this butter. And the reason that Crab Scott is here is because like he doesn't want any of his crab brethren to be lost to butter. That's what you can't eat crab without butter. Everybody knows that. All right,
it's true.
Are we done and ready to go to patch notes?
I think we're good to go to patch notes.
Fuck yeah, heel churn
is
dude.
very good.
Oh, a heel churn, a buttery wrestler. I feel like there should be like a little section, like a little after part there. How do you feel about that? A buttered up brawler.
Heel turn, a taste of victory.
A taste of victory. Okay, I like that. But how about heel churn, a buttered up brawler?
Buttered up brawler. It's a bit on the nose, isn't it?
I mean, okay, sure. You're right. A taste of victory, implying that people. I like that because it implies that people just eat butter raw, and I'm just not like. Ah. All right. But heel churn, a taste of victory. Is it heel churn?
Right,
is it heel churn a taste of victory, or heel churn the taste of victory?
I think it's heel turn. No, I like the heel turn, the taste of victory.
Sweet. All right, that's it.
Let's
that's
go to patch notes. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Patch Notes. This week, Blake and I just want to say, stop going places, please.
Yes, there's so many fucking parties happening in LA right now, and it's rather irritating. Quit being a dumbass. Quit being a cool partier that should not be partying.
Just stop going out. There's still a pandemic going on. I miss the movie theater, please.
Dude,
come on, be cool.
Dude,
please stop going out.
I meant to talk to you about this, but if movie theaters go out, you and I are going halvesies on a popcorn machine, right? Right? Holy shit. All right, everybody who's listening to this and debating on doing a party where they invite a shit ton of people over, you got to get more creative than that. You got to get more creative than that. And you can't have a room full of people with a pandemic. You'll get sick. You'll get your grandparents sick. You'll get your grandparents sick. Don't be inconsiderate. It's dumb of you.
You'll get your grandparents sick. Just stop going out, please.
But yeah, no, that was on our minds today, and we just wanted to talk about that and put in our 2 cents. We got to stick together on this thing. People got to stay safe. People are dying. Don't be dumb. It's not worth it.
Stay home if you can. Wear a mask. Don't go out. The end. Thank you all so much for listening.
We recommend. Here's the thing. If you want to be in a room with a bunch of people where their bodies are rubbing up against each other and you're all hungry, you're all fighting for the same thing, might I suggest Fall Guys? You can get a lot of people in one session. 60 people. It's very hot and heavy. And everybody you get to dress up. You get to dress up, and you can go in there and you can hang out with your friends. You just get in a voice call, and then maybe you might go meet some new people. I don't know. There's options. Or just go play a bunny girl in the Final Fantasy MMO. I don't know.
Do literally anything else. And I know that it sucks, but I think that we got to all start going back to how we were like 3 months ago, just being obnoxious and calling each other out on socials when we see that shit.
Yeah, no, totally.
It sucks that we have to kind of parent each other, but I think that that's where we're at again.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in this
so
week.
Preachy.
We are so very grateful to have you and to have you listening. We appreciate you guys. It gives us a lot of drive.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for listening. As always, I'm your host, AJ Hart.
And I'm your host, Blake Rea.
Our intro and outro is Cheap Shot by Anamanaguchi, an excellent song from an excellent band for an excellent game. This has been Spiritual Successor, and these are cool games
that should not be made.